So right here, I'm telling you how I would start a Paladin for the first ladder of Diablo 2 Resurrected. So first off, I'm going to smack away all the things that are the common between every single character. First off, don't be that guy who plays your ladder by yourself. Make sure you meet up with other people. You'll level up so much faster, and it'll be so much more fun if you actually play online with other people. Second off, your full party is probably going to want to go do the Den of Evil right off the bat. You'll get your first few levels there, and you also get a free skill point. Next on, you hit the tower. You can definitely go down and do the tower, or you can skip it. It's up to you, but it is a good way to find runes in order to make some of the rune words that every single character makes, and to get some more levels because there's a lot of champion packs down there. Now with those runes, there's certain rune words early on that everybody makes, like stealth, like leaf for any fire characters. You can even a little bit later on make things like Ort Soul for your lore helm, or Ancient's Pledge, or Rhyme Shield a little bit later on also. You also want to make sure you have at least 25 strength when you come into Act 2, that way you can buy a belt, and you can hold more potions in that belt in order to increase your safety and have more mana potions. It's just a really good idea. Now once you get done with Act 1, you're probably going to be like 12 to 15. That'll be perfectly alright, because once you get to Act 2, you go ahead and play through that. Once you get to Tal Rasha's Tombs, make sure you do not leave Act 2 until you're at least level 22 on your first character playthrough for ladder. Now that's because you need to be at least level 24 by the time you get to Ancients. Once you kill the Ancients, they'll give you enough experience to bump up to level 25, and it's very important to get to level 25 after Ancients, because that's the point where you start gaining a ton of experience from doing normal Baal runs. Now if you get to Ancients and you're not high enough level, you and your party go back and do tomb runs until everyone gets up to the minimum of that level 24. There are some other ways that people recommend, but that is the best way in my opinion. That's a combination of easy and fast. On your initial playthrough, skip almost every other quest except for that initial Den of Evil quest and the ones that are mandatory in order to complete the game. You can always come back and do them, and once you get your teleport staff and once you get teleport on your sorceress, it's going to be exponentially faster in order to just do them later. Make sure at some point you get your character a tele staff if you're not a sorceress in order to get through walls, and it really does speed up the game a lot. You can get them as early as Act 3 normal from Ormus. Now at this point, you just do a bunch of Baal runs over and over again till you get at least over level 40. That's how high you're going to want to be before you go to Nightmare. You could go a little bit higher to 45 if you would like. Now, you pretty much just play through Nightmare the same way you play through normal. You just try to get through it as fast as you can, and you're actually already high enough level to get all the way through to do the Ancients on Nightmare. Just get through the Ancients and get to Baal once again, and just do Baal runs so you get to at least level 60. If you want to go to level 65 or 70, that's up to you, but just get to at least level 60 before going to Hell. And then you just kind of repeat the process again. Play through the entire game, get to Hell, and then do Baal runs again till you get higher level. If you want to at any point, you could stop and do Mephisto runs or Andariel runs. You don't necessarily even have to beat Baal if you don't want to. You can actually get a bunch of levels just from running 85 areas or anywhere that your magic find if you would like. We'll take a look at where you're going to put the stat points for this particular character, and we'll go ahead and look at that right now. And right here you can see there is actually 20 dexterity. Technically, if you want to min-max it, we do need to put 1 point into dex if you want to use the scimitar. It's the fastest attacking sword that you can buy. You can purchase one right from Charcy. We'll just put the 1 point into it now. Now, if you had a scimitar, you can go ahead and use it. But in general, everything else you're going to want to just dump into vitality down here as you begin to level up. You see we already have 25 strength up here. You want to make sure that you have 25 strength in order to wear the belt that you can then buy in Act 2. So that shouldn't really be any problem, obviously. So, and as always, energy, you don't necessarily need to worry about putting points into that, in my opinion, for this playthrough. Now the skill tree is where you kind of want to talk about, because you want to put 1 point into sacrifice first in the combat skill tree. It does actually damage yourself while increasing your attack rating and the amount of damage you do. So you're going to use it sometimes and then just use regular attacks the other time. Where a lot of the points are going to end up going are into Holy Fire once you can get it at level 6. But you see it's at level 6. But for the sacrifice, you're only going to want 1 point into it. But where are these other points going to go, you might ask? Come over here and look at Resist Fire. Now, Resist Fire doesn't do a whole lot, and you're not really going to actually use it a bunch, but if you look down here, Resist Fire gives you 21% fire damage as a synergy for Holy Fire. Holy Fire will just do a ton of damage. You can use this well into Nightmare before having to respec into whatever the skill is you actually want to use. So incredibly early on, you're going to put a few points into this until you get to what would be level 6. And then boom, you would be 1 into might, and then you could come down to holy fire and start pumping those points in it. And look at how much that damage scales up. I mean, this would be like you would be leaving Act 1 right now, rocking 9 to 40 fire damage, and that fire attack is actually 55 to 123. That fire damage is actually the radius that it just hits stuff that you're not even attacking. But the 123 fire damage added to your attack, it's absolutely crazy, and getting that synergy and holy fire right there. So for pretty much any build that you're going into for the Paladin, this is the way you're going to want to do it. Now, once you do get a little bit higher here, you look at charge at level 12. This is the skill you're going to want to get because it gives you a vastly increased movement speed. You're not actually going to use it for the attack, but 1 into smite, 1 down to charge. And right here, you run around just incredibly fast, charging forward with that shield. It does absolutely suck your mana away. So keep that in mind. You can use it once in a while, but this will increase your movement a ton. Just, yeah, you're going to have to chug and be chugging potions. So when you get down there too, also, we have the 1 into sacrifice already. And then you're going to want to get Zeal, because Zeal, as you see up at the top, allows you to attack multiple adjacent enemies with a single attack. And see right here, it's 2 hits. If you get any plus to skill, see the next level is actually 3 hits. So getting a +1 to skill somewhere, or a 1 to a combat skill somewhere, would bump it up to the 3 hits, and then you see the 4 hits and stuff like that. You don't necessarily have to dump a ton of points into Zeal, because you'll get a plus skill here and a plus skill there. It is also kind of recommended as well at one point to come down to Vigor here and get 1 point into that. Increase your movement speed a bunch for you and your party. So it is very good to use, especially for ladder resets, really helping people out move around. But right off the bat, you're gonna just use it only when you're moving around, and then use you definitely want holy fire on anytime that you're fighting or attacking anything, and this damage will just keep getting ramped up. And you can also put more points into resist fire if you cannot at that point put any more into holy fire. So there is another way. I've tried it real quick on the first part of a playthrough just to see how it would work, and you can't get this until level 6, but if you're going into the new Fist of Heavens build, you can kind of put your points straight down, and this way you kind of don't have to respec. It can be beneficial to your party here, because if you shoot people with the holy bolts, you actually will be healing them, so you can actually heal people and their mercenaries and stuff to kind of keep them alive. And it's very beneficial if you're shooting at like the act boss. You got the melee characters up in front of you anyways, so they're kind of taking the brunt of the damage, and at the same time you're shooting them and healing them, keeping them alive. But before you can get even to level 6, you don't really want to waste points, so you end up kind of just putting points into skills that are going to eventually get you down the tree to get to skills that you're going to want. So Holy Shield, eventually you're going to want that. So you can put one into Smite early on if you are looking for somewhere to put points. You're eventually going to want to get down to Redemption. So you can put one over here into Prayer. And once you get down a little bit, you're eventually going to be putting a point into Defiance, but that's also level 6 anyways. But when you eventually can get to it, you can start pumping points into Holy Bolt. Now this will take kind of some help from friends to get to that level 6 point. If you're in a player's A game, you really get to level 6 pretty darn quick. But I can see how sometimes it could be a negative. You might really honestly just want to go into the Holy Fire build through normal and into Nightmare, and then just respec once you get to 30 to Fist of Heavens. But I did want to mention it towards the end here that it is technically possible to not have to respec if you were going into the Fist of Heavens type of build. If you like that video, make sure you check out one of these ones up over here, but before you go, make sure you hit that like button, and if you're new, subscribe up so you never miss any of the future Diablo 2 Resurrected content. Peace out, fellas, and don't forget, keep slaying!